Emma Stone recently joked on Jimmy Kimmel Live that she'd if Pedro Pascal. Everyone laughed. Some social posts stirred up buzz, but mostly it was treated as cheeky, fun banter. Pretty harmless, right? Now imagine a male actor said on national TV, "I'd f Emma Stone." Would it get the same responses? No way. In June 2025, Emma Stone, beloved Oscar-winning actress, appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live to promote her new film. What caught fire across social media platforms, however, wasn't a movie announcement or an emotional anecdote. It was a short, provocative joke that she delivered with signature charm. During a lighthearted discussion about her co-star Pedro Pascal, she described him as talented, gorgeous, nice, funny, and then dropped the bombshell line,
It's nice, it's funny.
The studio audience burst into laughter. Jimmy Kimmel raised his eyebrows with amusement, and even Pedro Pascal, watching from backstage, later joked about the moment online. Within hours, major entertainment outlets like People, Entertainment Weekly, Variety, and Tyla ran headlines highlighting the clip. Most of them framed the moment as funny, bold, and relatable. Yet, the most interesting part of the whole situation wasn't the joke itself, but how easily the public and media digested it. There was virtually no backlash, no accusations of impropriety, and certainly no calls for an apology. The overwhelming majority of comments on social media were supportive, amused, or simply indifferent. Only a handful of voices pointed out a critical hypothetical. What if the genders had been reversed? What if a male actor had gone on live television and said the same words about a female co-star? That lone question unlocked a much deeper and more controversial conversation, one that speaks volumes about double standards in Hollywood. While Stone's comment was framed as cute and empowered, a man expressing the same sentiment might be labeled creepy, objectifying, or inappropriate. This difference in interpretation reveals not just a societal bias, but a set of rules that fluctuate based on who's speaking, not what is being said. Imagine if a male actor, say Ryan Gosling or Henry Cavill, had gone on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and, while discussing a beautiful and talented female co-star like Zendaya, Margot Robbie, or even Emma Stone herself, casually said, "I'd fuck her." Even if said in a joking, affectionate tone, the aftermath would likely be explosive. Media outlets wouldn't be calling it charming or cheeky. Instead, headlines would scream problematic, sexist, crossing the line. Social media would go into overdrive. TikTok think pieces would dissect the power dynamics. Hashtags like Mosh accountability or Mosh respect women would start trending. Twitter would erupt with both condemnation and defense, but the tide would almost certainly turn against the male actor. The entertainment industry is riddled with examples where men have faced immense backlash and even career damage for much less. Consider the case of Jonah Hill. In 2014, he was caught on camera hurling a homophobic slur at a paparazzo.
Suck my dick.
Though he later issued a tearful apology on national TV,
I'm sorry, and I don't deserve or expect your forgiveness.
and expressed sincere regret, the backlash was immediate and intense. His projects took a hit, and his public image suffered, even though the comment wasn't made toward a colleague or in a workplace setting. Or look at James Franco, whose name became virtually blacklisted in Hollywood after allegations of inappropriate behavior surfaced. Even before the more serious accusations, Franco was often labeled creepy for flirting with younger fans or making flirtatious comments in interviews.
We had so many of them, we just started selling them out of our gym lockers.
Sure.
Behavior that never crossed legal boundaries, but was deemed culturally unacceptable. These examples highlight that the cultural response to men making sexual or suggestive remarks is drastically more punitive than it is for women. The backlash is amplified by the assumption that a man expressing desire must have power-based motives, whereas a woman doing the same is viewed as exercising autonomy. This is a critical distinction. Emma Stone's comment was read through a lens of empowerment. A male actor saying the same thing would be read through a lens of potential exploitation or predatory behavior, regardless of the context or intention. And it's not just about Emma. This pattern has played out repeatedly in Hollywood. Take the case of comedian Tiffany Haddish, who once openly joked in an interview that if she ever got the chance, she'd have sex with Brad Pitt. It was delivered with her signature brash charm. And the media and audiences alike erupted in laughter. Social media called it hilarious, bold, and relatable. Not a single major outlet raised concern about consent, professional boundaries, or inappropriate workplace flirtation. There were no op-eds demanding an apology, and Pitt himself reportedly laughed it off. Now compare that to comedian Shane Gillis, who in 2019 was hired to join the cast of Saturday Night Live. Shortly afterward, audio resurfaced of Gillis making racially insensitive and homophobic jokes on a podcast.
Chinatown's nuts.
It's crazy, dude.
It is full China.
He was fired before ever appearing on the show. While many agreed his remarks were offensive, the punishment was swift and absolute. No second chances, no probationary period. Yes. Race and sex are not directly comparable categories, but the broader theme is accountability. Men making any statement that steps outside the boundary of politically correct humor are often treated as radioactive. Meanwhile, women's explicit jokes, even about sexual acts or body parts, are more likely to be celebrated as daring or empowering. This imbalance isn't confined to comedians only. In 2018, during the height of the Now Me Too movement, singer Cardi B went viral for admitting in a resurfaced video that during her stripper days, she used to drug and rob men who tried to sleep with her.
I had to go straight. I had to go, oh yeah, you wanna me? Yeah, let's go to this hotel. And I drug up and I robbed them. That's what I used to do.
The backlash was swift, but short-lived. Within weeks, Cardi was back to releasing chart-topping hits and receiving industry awards. Many of her fans and even some public commentators defended her actions as survival tactics shaped by her environment. Now imagine if a male rapper, say Drake or Future, admitted to drugging and robbing women during their come-up years. That would almost certainly result in career-ending consequences. Sponsorships would vanish. Streaming platforms might pull their music. Public outcry would be relentless. Even more egregious is the contrast between how society handled Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Depp was dropped from Fantastic Beasts and faced a years-long smear campaign after Heard accused him of abuse. Only later did evidence emerge suggesting Depp was, in fact, the victim. Meanwhile, Heard retained her role in Aquaman 2 for most of the legal saga and only faced moderate scrutiny in comparison. The cultural takeaway? Men are presumed guilty and punished swiftly. Women are offered the benefit of the doubt, or at least the privilege of ambiguity. But why are women given so much room? Well, you have to say men are at fault here, to some extent, at least. We need to examine the evolution of gender dynamics, especially within media and entertainment. Historically, men dominated positions of power in Hollywood, including directors, producers, and studio executives, and many used that power to exploit or intimidate women. This legacy of abuse created a justified cultural sensitivity around male expressions of sexuality, especially when those expressions appear to blur the lines between admiration and entitlement. In contrast, women have long been marginalized and objectified, so when they express sexual desire, particularly toward men who are seen as equals or more powerful. It is often interpreted as reclaiming agency rather than abusing power. This framing explains why society is more forgiving, often even celebratory, of women making bold or flirtatious statements. Female sexuality, once shamed and suppressed, is now being publicly embraced as a form of empowerment. And rightly so, women should feel free to express desire and humor without fear of judgment. But herein lies the problem. We've built a one-sided model of empowerment. While women are increasingly free to be bold, humorous, and sexually expressive in public forums, men must tread carefully, constantly evaluating whether a joke, comment, or compliment might be perceived as inappropriate, threatening, or sexist. This hypersensitivity often prevents men from participating in the same kind of open, lighthearted expression. The result? A gendered imbalance in cultural freedom of speech and public perception. It's important to clarify, this is not a call to reverse course or re-enable toxic masculinity. It's a call for consistency. If we agree that intent, context, and tone matter when a woman comments on Emma Stone, then those same factors should apply when a man does. Otherwise, we're not moving toward equality. We're shifting the bias. If society truly seeks fairness, it must evaluate behavior, not just the gender of the person exhibiting it. So, what does this all mean in practice? It means that jokes like Emma Stone's should either be acceptable to everyone or no one. It means that flirtation should not be criminalized solely based on who is speaking. And it means we must critically evaluate our reactions when confronted with similar situations. Are we truly offended, or are we applying a double standard without even realizing it? As society evolves, so too should our moral compass, but it should point in the same direction, regardless of who's holding it.